Welcome viewers. So I'll tell you how it works. This is how it works. Big day today. I'm running the dog down at the waterfront. I used to have a cattle dog 25 years ago. Coca-Cola, it was its name. We ended up, she lived out a full life. Diabetes in the end, went blind. Had to give her injections. It was horrible. But we're down the waterfront here. We're just leaving now. I'm running the dog for the afternoon for the daughter. And a lady pulls up, an old grey-haired lady, well-to-do sort of a woman. And she's got this collie dog, one of those black and white collie dogs. And I showed in a video earlier in the week, I think it was, how the rocks on the waterfront have oysters and they're sharp like razors, right? They cut you like a razor. Well, I said to this woman, because the dog run down onto the oysters. It run down onto the oysters. I said to this woman, aren't you afraid that your dog's going to get cut? And, oh no, it's been doing it for 2 years. So the dog comes back from the oysters, and this is funny, isn't it? Because this stupid dog that I've got was going to follow, only it had the sense to listen when I said no, which was a miracle in itself. It had the sense to stop. So the collie comes out, there's blood everywhere. Blood everywhere. Limping, right legs cut itself to pieces. She's just rushed off with it, wrapped up in a towel. How could that dog have been doing that for 2 years? Oh, goodness gracious, viewers. People lie to themselves, they deceive themselves, they'll say whatever they need to in that moment. Viewers, don't buy the lies of others. If there's harm being done and it's predictable, don't buy into it. There's a lot of delusion. That woman stood there and allowed that dog to cut itself to pieces. I said to her, those oysters are razor sharp. Oh no, he's been doing it. I thought, there's no, flesh is flesh and a razor is a razor. This dog cut its paws to pieces. I couldn't believe it. Oh my God, the ignorance. Why didn't she stop that dog? I'll tell you why she didn't stop it. She couldn't. She didn't know how to stop it. She couldn't stop it. She didn't know how to. And that was the end of that. Off to the vet she goes. Every single paw was cut. Oh my God, I don't know how you come back from that. How do you come back from that? Oh dear. So I saved my dog, or this dog, the daughter's dog. I stopped it and it listened. Thank God it had the sense to listen. But that other woman, she didn't save that dog. That dog had nothing, absolutely nothing. And this is what we do to our children as well. If we don't at least warn them with passion not to do things that are going to harm them, we've done our job. If they go ahead and do it, which I did a lot when I was little, I did too, I wasn't any different, then it's on them. But if we encourage our children to do wrong, man, that's a different story. That's a totally different story. That's when you're doing things that are evil to your children. See, you're not to raise children. You're to raise parents. You're to raise adults. And that's hard. And some people just don't get it. They just don't pull it off. They don't get the job done. I can't say at the moment all my children have turned out fine. They got minds of their own. Believe it. And some of it, you know, you just scratch your head and go, well, where did that come from? And sometimes we don't have an answer. Sometimes we've just got to go, well, okay, that's that. But I tell you what, if it affects me, I don't encourage it. If I'm being abused or disrespected, I cut these people off. You're not going to disrespect me. Life's too short. But a lot of parents will allow that. Now, a lot of parents will allow their children to abuse themselves. Now, my youngest son wouldn't come near me because he wanted to dabble in things that he shouldn't. And I think in some ways he thinks that that's my fault. Well, I'm sorry, it's not my fault. It's your fault. You did it. You got a mind of your own. Once these people reach 18, that's it. They're adults. They've got to get on with their own lives. Mooching on their mothers and leeching on their mothers. Most fathers won't tolerate it. And it's the mothers that wear the fathers out because the mothers don't discipline their children. They're too busy rescuing them to enable them to do dysfunctional things. But what I just saw then at the waterfront, that woman allowing that dog to run around in the oysters. Nobody can do that. She lied. She out and out lied. And you would never pick it. The dog's cut to shreds. I can't believe it. I can't believe what I just watched. And a lot of these parents are allowing this to happen to their children. I won't stand there and allow it. I just won't. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to things that lead to harm. Sorry, it's just not right. But how could that woman stand there? I mean, the dog just didn't run on a couple of rocks. It was running up and down the rocks. It cut itself to pieces. I've never seen a woman take off so quick. There was blood everywhere. And she's standing there saying, oh, he's been doing it for 2 years. I'm thinking, and I'm watching it, and I could see the blood. And she was trying to put on this brave face like nothing was wrong. And this is what parents do with their children. They pretend nothing's wrong and the whole place has fallen to pieces, including themselves. You got to send these people out into the world. If they don't come back, well, that's not on you. We grandiose them. We feed their egos. They don't know what their sinful nature is. They're running around in narcissism. There's no discipline anymore. Nobody cares. They glorify these people like they're gods, and they're not. They're just little intrusive little grubs. You know, let's just say it how it is. Who are we trying to kid? We're only kidding ourselves and deceiving them. Discipline, instruction in the ways that are right. You can only deliver that. What they choose to do after that is on them. That's all there is to it. It's going to be irrelevant what happens once they get out into the real world as far as what you're concerned. You know, I've had friends die from work accidents, drug accidents, motorcycle accidents, car accidents, bashings, drownings, falling off cliffs, cancer, all different kinds of cancers. You know, come on. Aren't you tired of the harm? Aren't you tired of the trouble? Aren't you tired of the arguments? Aren't you tired of the pettiness? Aren't you tired of the stupidness and the results and everything that it brings? Honestly, aren't you tired of it? Haven't you had enough? Isn't there something better that you can do to make life better? That's why parents estrange their children. Some children just never come out of the fog. But isn't it funny when you're sitting there and you're watching parents and their children and everyone's in the fog? just ruined. Ruined. They know there's a God, they know about Jesus, they know about good and bad, but they just don't care. They just don't care. They got their habits, they got their way of life, they got their way of seeing things and doing things, and it's like the dog with the tennis ball. You're just not going to take it off them. You can throw it to the side, you can toss it in the water, you can throw it on the oysters like that silly woman today. They're still going to chase that ball. They're still going to chase those habits and addictions and things that are, passions and lusts, people that are harmful to them. They've become trauma bonded to. They didn't listen. They just didn't listen to what was best for them. You can't untie what happens to these people unless they hit absolute rock bottom. They have to hit absolute rock bottom before any benefit whatsoever is going to come to them by way of self-realization, because these people are not self-aware. There's no self-awareness whatsoever. I'm watching it with a couple of people at the moment. They're completely, absolutely, 100% self-unaware. And there's nothing I can do about it. They're just self-unaware. And until they come to their senses, probably through major loss or pain or anguish or something that just runs them into the ground, they'll never find their way out. Change, unfortunately, for the majority now, comes through severe, sustained pain and loss.